Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys news: Troy Aikman will never bet against Deion Sanders. Troy Aikman weighed in on the idea of Deion Sanders returning to Dallas to replace Mike McCarthy as head coach. You know Deion Sanders very well. His name was the first to come up for this opening. Nobody's sure if he's a serious candidate, but with Jerry Jones and Deion, they will surprise you every once in a while. Do you think he would be a fit here? Aikman, well, I wouldn't bet against him. I absolutely would never bet against Deion. I've just seen it too many times. He's proven that he's earned the opportunity. So if he lands the job in Dallas, if that ultimately is what happens, or if he goes somewhere else within the NFL or even in the college ranks, he's earned that opportunity. I don't know if I'd look at anyone and say it's necessarily a great fit. I just think there's a lot of hurdles. And so it may not be a great fit for anyone, but if Deion were to come on board, I think he'd be fantastic. I think you would relate exceptionally well to the locker room. It's amazing that for someone who's as far removed from having played the reverence that these current players have for his career and what he was as a player. It's pretty remarkable, and it says a lot for him. So I think he'd be fantastic no matter where he is. And as you guys have heard me say, I'm a big fan, and I would never bet against him. Dallas Cowboys should reach out to top coaching candidate in playoffs Ali Jawad. Sports Illustrated Ben Johnson should be at the top of the list of potential candidates for the vacant head coaching position for the Cowboys. As the Cowboys search for a replacement for Mike McCarthy, NFL insider James Palmer suggests that Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, consider the opportunity to become the head coach of the Cowboys if Dallas shows interest. If I am Ben Johnson, I do want to evaluate this position certainly, Palmer said. You are now with Mike Vrabel off the market, the clear-cut #1 favorite in this head coaching cycle. If Ben Johnson takes an interview, he is interested. Johnson's offense finished the 2024 season ranked second in total yards, 409.5, first in touchdowns, 70, the only team to achieve that mark, second in passing yards, 263.2, sixth in rushing yards, 146.4, and first in scoring, 33.2 points per game. The Cowboys are familiar with the offensive strategies of the 38-year-old coach. In Week 6, they faced a crushing defeat against the Lions, losing 47-9. In that game, Johnson's offense totaled 492 total yards, including 184 rushing yards, achieved 27 first downs, and averaged 7.5 yards per play. In 2024, the teams on this Cowboys roster did not meet expectations, so what will that room look like in 2025? Present, it wasn't a fantastic showing for Ferguson in 2024, though. His battle with injuries, knee, concussion, cost him both time and chemistry with Cooper Rush once Dak Prescott was lost to the season, and it was evident on a weekly basis that his usually telepathic connection with Prescott was not present with Rush. He remains the definitive TE1 going into 2025, however, so make no bones about that, and it'll be a contract year as well, adding to his already high level of motivation to have a bounce-back season. Behind him lies a battle that has gone from an afterthought to, now, anything but. Future, Luke Schoonmaker has drawn plenty of ire from Cowboys fans still upset the team used a second-round pick to acquire him after having seen what Jake Ferguson could do, but the presence of Schoonmaker and the 2024 acquisition of Brevin Spanford have the latter two locked in one hell of a battle that was fun to watch during the back half of this past season. That will be one of the key battles to watch going into training camp, and one I'd love to see John Stevens Jr. get back into the mix-up, but, having now torn both of his ACLs in his first 2 seasons, it'll be more about staying healthy and then trying to make waves at the position. Lastly, don't forget about Princeton Fant, seeing as he put a lot of good on film, especially as an inline blocker and special teamer. There's no way Packers fans react to unbelievable Mike McCarthy report. The Green Bay Packers moved on from head coach Mike McCarthy after Week 13 during the 2018 NFL season. The next year, Green Bay would hire Matt LaFleur. Mike McCarthy would take a year off before joining the Dallas Cowboys. However, Dallas moved on from McCarthy following the 2024 season. His next team could be a shock to Packers Nation. News: Mike McCarthy is the favorite to be the head coach of the Chicago #Bears for Week 1 of the 2025 season, per Bovada official. McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach. Chicago flew in McCarthy on a private jet, a rarity for the team, and he stayed overnight in the area. After leaving the Dallas Cowboys earlier this week, McCarthy interviewed with the Chicago Bears on Wednesday. Last weekend, Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Johnson interviewed with the Bears. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Flores, the Vikings' defensive coordinator, will interview with Chicago on Saturday. Schultz says the Bears are looking for an offensive-minded coach to cater to rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. Cowboys interview with Kellen draws brutal Eagles reaction. The Philadelphia Eagles may be in the middle of their preparation to take on the Los Angeles Rams, but not everyone on the roster is focused solely on that. Offensive coordinator and play caller Kellen Moore has 3 interviews for head coaching jobs this week, with the Dallas Cowboys one of the interested parties for his services. Not everyone in Philly is thrilled with that. Plenty of Eagles fans, both in the media and out, have taken to the Twitter to show their disdain for Moore interviewing for head coaching jobs in the middle of a playoff run. Luvavi Kellen Moore interviewing for multiple head coaching jobs the week after he put together one of the most vanilla play-calling jobs in the passing game I've seen, one fan said. I will be furious if Kellen Moore being distracted by the Cowboys job costs the Eagles, FS1 Emmanuel Acho added. The same situation literally already cost the Eagles a Super Bowl. Eagles fans know. Acho is right on that account. Back in the weeks leading up to the 2023 Super Bowl, the Eagles were losing both offensive coordinator Shane Steichen and defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon to head coaching jobs elsewhere. Gannon, in particular, was reportedly distracted while getting the Cardinals' head job and ended up putting a pitiful second-half performance that cost the Eagles a title. Philadelphia is hoping that doesn't happen with Moore this time around. Dallas fans have spent the season wondering the same thing about Dan Quinn, who a year ago was both working his way to the head coaching job in Washington while also preparing for a playoff game versus Green Bay, that Dallas lost in stunning fashion. Moore, according to our Mike Fisher, is slated for a Friday virtual meeting with the Cowboys, who employed him 2 years ago before Mike McCarthy nudged him out of the Star. Moore, 36, who has never been a head coach before, is also squeezing in interviews with the Saints and the Jaguars before Philly's weekend playoff visit from the Rams. Regardless of what the fans are worried about, though, we won't know how much those interviews affect the team until they take the field on Sunday. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Kellen Moore? Leave your opinion in the comments.